So I'm about to make the headpiece for me and my friend's Babs costumes. You kind of have to start off with a wig like this. She was pissed when I sent her this, but trust the process. And this is gonna be Nisi's wig. This is gonna be Mickey's wig. So you get the wigs. They're pretty cheap on Amazon. Don't have to be real. You get some manila folders. Got some packs of braiding hair. Some got to be spray. Some got to be glue. Some spritz. Needle and thread. Some pins to hold the hair in place. And I've seen where they said use the white glue that dries clear, but I couldn't find it, so I just got glue sticks. So let's make some hair. Okay, what's up, gang? Let's go ahead and jump into this. You know, I don't like wasting no time. So first, I started off with some manila folders that I got from Dollar General. I had to turn around the next day and go get some more because the ones I got were cheap. They weren't holding up pretty good. So these right here, I went ahead and taped them and put it in like a little trifold, as you can see. I was using the ruler to measure and to see how tall I wanted my actual hair to be. So when I went ahead and cut it, I made two of them. Make it where you can still open it like a folder. So I made took two folders, put them together. As you can see, taped them, kind of made the little three section, the trifold. I took the hair out and I went ahead and cut it in half so it was easier to work with. I used the glue, super glue, even though they want you to use the hair glue down there. I couldn't find the white hair glue that dried clear, so I just used super glue and got to be. I just laid the hair down in a thin layer first because at first I did it a little bit too bulky and you can kind of see where it was real bulky right there. So this was my first one. I actually did a second one. So with that one right there, after you put the hair on, you let it dry for a little bit. When you come back and get it, it should be dry enough where you can cut off the bottom, as you see I'm doing right now. You go ahead, cut that off to make it even, and you're going to leave the top because you're going to leave the top and make sure the top part is thin, and make sure also you put the hair on the back side of the folder, not on the inside, because it's going to fold. So you see how I cut the ends right there, and then on the top side you see it's really thin. I'm gonna like pull at it in a minute so you can see that it's kind of thin. So you just cut around the edges and make sure you kind of clean it up. And at the top you're gonna kind of cut a little bit of the hair, enough for you to be able to fold it over. So make sure it's thin because that thick hair, once you start folding over, it's not going to stay. The hair is gonna keep coming up. So make sure the top is kind of thin. So you see now I'm taking the got to be and I'm putting it over inside of the folder actually. I'm gonna fold the hair over so that it sticks. You might have to keep putting got to be up there or keep putting spritz or keep freeze spraying it down so that it'll actually stay. Now, once again, your manila folder is going to be saturated from this stuff. So you need to make sure that you have one that is able to withstand all of this glue and spray and stuff. Because, baby, these ones right here that I had, trash. They were breaking down and they were doing the most. So, actually, what you're seeing now is the second one that I actually did. So, the first one I did didn't work out right. This right here is the second one. And yes, I did cut the bottom of that got to be off because I don't like wasting product. So, after I went ahead and got it to make basically stay down, I went ahead and put it up and let it dry. So you let that dry for a little while and then you come back and get it when it's dry. You see I'm spritzing it and stuff like that, and you see how wet it looks. But when you let it dry, it'll get hard or whatever, just from all of that spritz and freeze spray. So right here, I'm just kind of cleaning up the sides, getting all the little strings of hair out. Yeah, just making it look flat. So this next part you see me doing is I took some strips of hair and put some got to be on it and like basically smoothed it across the whole piece of strip and let those sit and dry. So whenever I let them dry, I went back and got my strips, and by that time they were hard. So I went ahead and put some super glue dots on it, put me some rhinestones on it. That's going to be the part that's in the front that does the little crossover in front of the headpiece, whatever. So My baby came and sat down with me and helped me because I was doing a lot and kind of struggling. Okay, I was making 2 wigs at one time. We're going to see Mickey's wig in another video. I'm going to make sure I post that the same time I post this so you can kind of go back and forth. So yeah, after we put the super glue on it, we just kind of sat it down and let it dry. And yeah, so that was that part right there. So after I did that, I went ahead and made my long braid, and that was clutched. So that really is what goes around the base of the hair so that it can be neat. This is my little wig I got from Amazon. Yes. So I basically took some rubber bands and I put the middle up into some rubber bands. That makes it easier for when you put the headpiece on. There is not no hair that's basically covering it up or making it hard for you to place the wig. So you just put the middle up and that'll stop or refrain the hat from basically being messy, or like the headpiece from being messy, or you're not able to really put it on correctly. So that's what I'm doing right there. And next, okay, you see my stuff is dry. Cool. So I just put a little box in the middle. You don't have to keep that there. That's just basically to kind of hold it down for me a little bit. So if you see me taking this glue, okay, I was struggling a little bit too. When I took this glue, I mean the glue, when I took these strips of tape, what I was trying to do was kind of put, you see what I'm doing is putting it together, just trying to make it, give it some shape so that it'll stand up straight. And also it's a barrier for me to be able to put the hair pieces on top of, so that they'll actually have something to stick onto, even though I'm going to super glue them to the edges. Now you see my little hair coming off on the side. Yeah, that was pissing me off too, actually. So I just kind of slid a little bit more glue there whenever I got finished trying to figure this tape out. Put a little bit more glue right there just to kind of, push it in or whatever. So it actually stayed, so it did good. So I'm using hella tape, but that's because yeah, it was getting on my nerve and it was really not sticking the way I wanted it to stick. And honestly, it probably would have did better if I would have had like a thick piece of tape, to put over it. But instead I didn't have a thick piece of tape, so I put like 3. Won't do that anymore because that was a struggle. So you see I'm taking my little strips now that they've dried and now that my rhinestones are dry. And I'm just making sure they're correct measurements. I'm putting some super glue on them and I'm putting them on the hat. You see how I'm putting them on now? I took these little clips to put them because even though I got the super glue up there, with the hair moving so much, it might still come off when while the actual super glue is wet. So I went ahead and put the clips up there so it'll actually stay. Now in the middle, I kind of did my own thing with the strips and kind of made it kind of looks like a cross low key. Even though they kind of had doing some old zigzag stuff, I just wanted to kind of at least put a little bit of creativity on this thing and kind of make it mine. So yeah, that's kind of what I did with that. And these things were dry, like I was saying, but you go ahead and put them up there however you want to. You can go look at some pictures to kind of make it easier, but you kind of see the gist of how this wig is being made and how the headpiece is being set up to actually sit on top of the actual wig. So I just kind of did that, let that dry for a little bit, get hard, sprayed some more spritz and freezing spray on it so that it was ready to go. So once I went ahead and let that dry, I went ahead and put up some more parts of the hair because I really didn't want to sit that wig on it. And you see how the hair is like layered. So I really didn't want to sit that wig on it and some of the layers like mess it up or like be coming over the folder or what. It just wasn't going to look right. Okay, so here we are putting the headpiece on. It took us a minute to get it situated and position it how I wanted it to be positioned. I'm also working with not the average thread. They gave me black thread and I was working with that at first, but I just didn't like the fact that I don't know how to really sew like that. So if I messed it up, you would be able to see the black pieces. So I just really got like a blonde colored string and kind of try to sew it with that. But as you can see, it's a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of more than one string in it. So I was just really doing the most actually. So this is at the end of me getting the actual string around. And before I actually positioned it, sat it up, moved it around, scooted around, do everything that I need to do. This is just me really trying to go through, cut the edges off, make sure that's actually staying before I try to move it too much. Taking the clips off. Some of my rhinestones came off when I took the clips off, but that won't nothing. I was able to go ahead and super glue that right back up there. See? But I took also the super glue and like stuck it back to the pieces because some of the pieces were coming off. I really just kind of finessed it, went around, fixed it a little bit, got my little braid, and you see what I'm talking about? So whenever you do that needle and thread around it to make it stay, you might still see some parts of the thread and it might not look clean enough for you. So I took this braid and wrapped it around so that it gave it a more cleaner look. And I actually got this inspiration from another YouTuber. I think her name is Glamazon or something like that. So, yeah. So I got that from her. So I basically took some of her techniques and some things I felt like might work a little bit better on my end, even though hers looked a lot better than mine. I was kind of struggling. Like I said, I was working on 2 projects at one time, though. If I was just focusing on this one, it probably would have been a little easier. But yeah, I had a lot going on. So this was still right before I actually really positioned it the way I wanted to go, because you still see like the actual headpiece is kind of look like it's kind of shifted to one side. But I kind of got it together once I really stepped back and kind of looked at it and tried to turn it around. Still going through cutting off stuff. I look crazy, yes I know, don't mind me. Going through and just trying to kind of clean it up a little bit, because I kind of, even though I struggled with it, I still wanted it to look decent, especially with all this work I put into it. Um, so yeah, like that's pretty much what it was looking like. So let me wrap this up so I can show y'all the final presentation, the outcome, what it was looking like and stuff or whatever. Let me show you. Yes, y'all, look at my little piece or whatever. I sprayed some spritz to make it stay and let it sit for a little while. And then look at me. It is giving Nisi from Babs.